Okay, tonight we're going to be previewing lesson 9 and
The
10.
objective for 9
They're
is
very
to add decimals
similar.
using place value strategies
Both
and relate-based strategies
to written method, and 10 is actually subtracting decimals using place value strategies to relate those strategies to written method. So we're combining this into one. Now in question number 1A and 9, you can see it says 12 tenths plus 9 tenths. Now when you're adding and subtracting using the unit form, makes it very easy because you can eliminate the decimal. So we know 12 tenths plus 9 tenths is going to give us 21 tenths. So when we write this, we know there's 1 tenth and 2 ones for 21 tenths. For D, we know we have 27 hundredths and 7 hundredths. So 27 plus 7 is going to give us 34 hundredths, which we know the 4 is in the hundredths place and the 3 is in the tenths. So it'll be 34 hundredths. Now number 2 says solve using the standard algorithm. Standard algorithm is nothing more than means that we're going to do the traditional standard of lining up the decimals. And it's very important that we line up the decimal points. And all we're going to be using are the digits and using our basic math facts to solve the problem. So 4 plus 7 will be 11. I cannot put two digits in one place value, so I have to regroup. I like regrouping down here so I don't forget. And I end up with 11. But I have this decimal point I have to bring down exactly the way it was, and I end up with 1.1 tenths. Now, if I were to do this unit form, I would 4 tenths plus 7 tenths, and I'd end up with 11 tenths. Well, if you read this one, you can see this is 11 tenths. So it's doing a uniform, just a way of being able to do it mental math. Now let's look at D. D, I have 56 and 4 hundredths, excuse me. And now I have 3 and 7 hundredths. And I'm adding these two together. Notice I have lined them up by place value, and I have made sure the decimal point is what's lined up. Now 4 and plus 7 gives us 11. Carry a 1, gives me 1. 6 and 3 is 9. And 5 plus 0 is 5. And then I have to make sure my decimal's in there. So we end up with 59 and 11 hundredths. Now question number 3 says walk away over the Hudson. A bridge across the Hudson River in Poughkeepsie is 2 and 63 thousandths kilometers long. Anping Bridge, which was built in China 850 years ago, is 2.7 hundredths kilometers long. What is the total span of both bridges? Now, if you notice, the key word here is what is total. Total means that we're looking for the sum, or we're going to add the two together. So you can see here they've used a place value chart, and they've put the Hudson in there, and they've put Anping in there. Now, when you're adding or subtracting decimals, like this, if you have two different lengths, such as this one here, it's missing a digit, you want to put a placeholder in there. It makes it so much easier. Now, we know we're adding, so 3 and 0 gives us 3. 6 and 7 gives us 13, and we have to regroup one of them. 0 plus 1 is 1, and our decimal goes in here, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So we know the total span is 4 and 133 kilometers. Part B says Leah likes to walk her dog on the walkway over the Hudson. If she walks across and back, how far will she walk her dog? Okay. Well, I like using tape diagrams. And this here is the total length. She walked her dog. So if I look here, this part here, okay, which end up being, since we know it's the Hudson, This length right here is 2.063, and that's one way. And then we know that she came back same distance, 2.063, and back. So I can see that I'm going to add these. And I got 2 and 0.63, 2 and 0.63, which is 6300ths. Notice I have lined up my place values with my decimals. And then I've made sure every place value after that is exactly in line, because now I can go 3 and 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry my 1. 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. Put my decimal point in there. And 2 plus 2 is 4. So we know the total up here was 4 and 126 thousandths kilometers. Okay, now we're into lesson 10. And you can see here what they've done on A. It says 9 tenths minus 3 tenths. Well, 9 minus 3, it gives us 6 and tenths, because 9 tenths minus 3 tenths is 6 tenths. Under C, it says 4 hundredths, 6 hundredths minus 3 hundredths. Well, if you're going to subtract, I can see I have 3 hundredths and 6 hundredths, so 6 hundredths minus 3 hundredths is going to be 3 hundredths. And now 4 hundredths, and there is no hundreds over here, so 4 hundredths minus 0 hundredths would be 4 hundredths. Okay, now we're supposed to be using a standard algorithm this time. And we know we have 1 and 8 tenths minus 0 and 9 tenths. Well, I cannot take 9 from 8, so I have to regroup. Now I have 18 minus 9, which gives me 9. And 0 minus 0 is 0. And this is the same as saying if I have 18 tenths, and we're going to subtract 9 tenths, we will have 9 tenths. So you can see 9 tenths, which is equal to 0.9. Okay. If we're going to C, is that the one I want to do? No, I think I'm going to do D. Here I have 5 and 182, and then I have 0.09. Now, the first thing you're doing when you're adding and subtracting decimals, if you're doing a standard algorithm, is you want to make sure they all have the same amount of digits. So I'm going to put a 0 in here for a placeholder. Now it's easier so I don't make a mistake. So 2 minus 0 gives us 2. 8 minus 9, I cannot take 9 from 8, so I have to regroup. Brings the 1 over. Now I have 18 minus 9 gives me 9. 0 minus 0 gives me 0. And 5. Now if I wanted to double check myself, I can go 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 9 is 18. Carry my 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 5 plus 0 is 0. So I'm just adding going back. Now I want to do F, which we have 741, and we're subtracting 3 and 91 hundredths. Now the biggest misconception is that students line them up without the decimals, because the decimal is actually right here on this top number. So you notice when I wrote them down, I matched them. And now I'm going to make sure that it's the same amount of digits. Now I have 0 minus 1 is, I cannot do that, so I'm going to regroup. I come to here. Oh, there is no regrouping. Nothing to regroup, so I have to come to the furthest to the left. And I'm going to regroup. That brings this 1 over. I'm still having to work over here, though, so I'm going to regroup again. It becomes 9, and put 10 here. Now 10 minus 1 gives us 9. 9 minus 9 gives us 0. Let's go ahead and put our decimal place in there. 0 minus 3, I can't take 3 away from 0, so I have to regroup again. Now we have 10 minus 3 is 7. 3 minus 0 is 3, and 7. Now if I wanted to check this, once again, I could add them up. 9 plus 1 is 10.
Attention teachers,
Carry 1 up.
attention teachers. In case you don't know by now, tomorrow will be an early release day. We will release students at 1:45 due to the hurricane. And then on Friday and Monday, school is closed. So please prepare accordingly. Thank you. We'll give you all more information concerning how we're going to prepare the building, okay? Thank you.
All right. Now 3A, as you see, this says 30 tens minus 3 tens and 3 tenths. So if you're writing this, this is 30 tens equals 300 minus 30.3 tenths. So, and I'm going to write this over here just so I have room. So I'm going 300, and I know there's a decimal point right here, and I'm subtracting 30 and 3 tenths. Now you notice I put the 0 above, so it's the same. And I need to regroup. I come over to here, there's nothing. I come over to this one, there's nothing. So I have to go all the way to the hundreds to regroup. That becomes a 2, and I'm bringing 1 over. Well, I got to get all the way at the end of this number, so I got to regroup again. Put 9 here, 10, but I'm still not where I need to be, so I'm going to regroup one more time. And now I have it. 10 minus 3 is 7. Put our decimal place in there. 9 minus 0 is 9. 6 minus 3 is, 9 minus 3 is 6. And 2 minus nothing is 2. As you can see, we ended up with the same thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you F. So they did 5 ones, 3 tenths, and we're subtracting 0.53, 53 hundredths. Now once again, we lined up our decimal points, but I also missing one here, so I'm going to put in an extra digit so they're the same. Now I can see I need to regroup because I can't take 3 away from 0. So I'm going to go 2, regroup. 10 minus 3 is 7. 2 minus 5, I can't take 5 away from 2, so regroup again. 12 minus 5 gives me 7. Put my decimal in, and 4 minus 0 is 4. You can see where they got it from. Last one we're going to do is number 5 of 10. It says a clipboard costs $2.23. It costs 58 cents more than a notebook. Lisa bought 2 clipboards and 1 notebook. She paid with a $10 bill. How much change does she get? Now this is a multi-step problem. So I'm going to list what I need to do first. Okay. So I know a clipboard, and I'm just going to draw mine else there. This one clipboard cost $2.23. Now, and that's for a clipboard. Here I have a notepad, which I know is 58 cents less than the clipboard. So I know if I were looking at that, if I wanted to find out how the notepad was, I'd have to go to 23 and subtract 58 cents from it. Notice I lined up my decimals. I have to regroup. So 13 minus 8 is 5. Set the regroup again. So 11 minus 5 is 6. And our 1. So a notepad we know costs $1.65. Now it says she bought 2 clipboards and 1 notepad. Well, I know that $2.23 is 1 notepad. So $2.23 added twice will show me how much it was for 2 notepads. So now I have 6, 4, 4. And I know this was 2 clipboards, actually, not notepads. Now, up here, it says you bought 1 notebook. So, I'm going to take $1.65, and I'm going to add it to that to see what the total was. 6 and 5 is 11. Regroup my 1. 6 and 4 is 10, and 1 is 11. Regroup 1 again. 4 and 1 is 5, and 1 is 6. And then make sure I put my decimal point in there. So I can see that they spent $6.11. Now it says that you paid with a $10 bill. Wants to know how much change. So now if I had this tape diagram and this total on top, that would be my $10 that I paid with. And then I'm going to portion this off, and I know this is what I spent, which happens to be $6.11. And this is how much I would get back in change. Now I can see by looking at this, if I take $10 and I subtract $6.11 from it, that's going to give me my change. But you notice I need to fill in the extra digits. Now I can see I need to regroup. $10 minus 1 gives me 9. 9 minus 1 gives me 8. 9 minus 6 gives me 3. So I should get $3.89 change back. Now if we want to check this, let's add it up. 9 and 1 is 10. Carry my 1. 8, 9, 10. Carry my 1. 6 and 3 is 9. 1 is 10. So it checked.